to have a shorter session tonight. I'm actually pretty sick and I'm also pretty tired. Cyrus got us all up at 6 a.m.
No problem.
3 a.m. yesterday, so I'm going to go as long as I can, but then when I start getting incoherent, we're going to have to call it. So.
No problem, man. You do what you gotta do.
Alright, so where did we leave off, guys? I think we were heading off into the wilderness, right? Still want to sum up what happened last time?
We kind of divided ourselves to do two different things. Ynish and Gaius were going to be... What was it you guys were doing? You were checking something specific.
We're going back to the barracks to make acquaintance with, or possibly make acquaintance with that gladiator guy.
Oh no, not the barracks. Well, maybe the barracks. It was the that guy who was a gladiator.
Yeah, we were told he was at the barracks. Might be at the barracks.
And then Britta and Callum, we were going to follow some Romans who were going out hunting. A small hunting party that were talking amongst themselves about how others have gone missing and all this other bullshit, which might be related to the I felt might be related to the other soldiers who have been killed. Like, supposedly there's someone out there in the mists who is this Germanicus guy showing up killing people. So why not stalk them? And if he doesn't show up to kill them, it's food for us.
Exactly, and what we're really looking for as we're out here is mists. Me and Callum would really kind of be in our element out here in the wilderness, so it seems like a pretty good match.
Yeah, that's why we split the way we did. Got the Roman guys talking to Roman people, and the native going out into the wilderness. At least, that's the aim.
Which group wants to start? Or maybe we should start with Holly and Andrew in case Cyrus wakes up in a little bit, because he just went down, so he's not going to be waking up for a second here.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll go with that.
Alright, 1 second.
I imagine it would be useful to have my character sheet. Thankfully, I keep everything to my left. My bookcase is right there with everything in easy reach.
Okay, so, do you guys have everything that you need before you head out with this group of Romans, or?
I think we were gonna kind of try to follow behind them, like, quietly and stealthily, without...
I assume that. You're gonna have to talk to them if you're gonna actually go with them. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna set out, and I assume you're gonna shadow behind them.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning to speak to them, I was planning to just kind of use stealth and follow them into the wilderness.
What I'm saying is, are you all ready to advance time to when they are leaving? Because they're not leaving immediately.
Yeah, I don't need, like, to do any kind of preparation. Callum is as prepared as he can be. He has come to realize that he doesn't need to carry a sword anymore. You know, that blade of his that he had lost is no longer necessary. He can create weapons. His hands are weapons now.
And Britta, are you prepared?
Yes. Since I have the ability to strengthen myself into the aspect of beasts and summon spirits to assist me, that's going to be my plan here beyond obviously just eating them because they're humans. So, what I will be doing is using aspect of the beast to grant myself, let's do like ears of the hair or something, so I can reduce difficulty of perception rolls involving hearing by 2, so I can kind of listen a little more closely to what they're going out for, more details of them, maybe their names, so I can pull them into the dark more easily.
Okay. Let me pull up that page and see what the roll is. I think it's manipulation something. Okay, it is a manipulation occult PT.7. Go ahead and roll it. Okay, that is a failure. You look around the city gates, but you don't see any spirits of the hair around here. Granted, you don't have total sight into this domain, so maybe you're just not looking hard enough.
Alright.
That still loses the blood point, right?
Yeah, still loses the blood.
So like if you fail a discipline activation.
Yeah, but, you know, we have a ton of blood, so fortunately it's a very low-risk situation, and we're about to follow a bunch of blood bags out into the forest, so I'm not too worried.
Oh, yeah, we have a wicked storm here, by the way, so if we suddenly do see, that's why. Okay, anyone else doing anything? Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and set out.
Will this whole like tracking them be considered like one scene?
Yes. Until we enter into a new scene that may involve them. But tracking them will be one scene, yeah.
Okay, because I was thinking like for like purposes of like stealthing behind them, I might just use a vitae to be a bit more dexterous.
Sure, go ahead and buff if you want.
Okay, I'm gonna use 2 points.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all.
You know what?
Okay.
I am going to use the spirit beasts. When I summon them, do they draw a lot of attention? Like, am I going to pull something with a whole bunch of spell effects that everyone's going to notice? Or is it going to be just visible to me?
Let me read the description real quick. The spirit assumes the corporeal form of the appropriate animal. So what would happen is that it would be corporeal after you summon it, but if you summon it in plain view of other people, yes, it will look like a small blue wisp suddenly becomes a corporeal thing.
Okay, but if I go into, say, an alleyway or a darkened room and I do this, it'll just look like I walk out and there's a black cat wandering around, right?
Only the activation is going to alert people if that's what you're asking. Otherwise, it will just appear as a native animal of whatever it is you're summoning. That said, if it's an animal that, couldn't have made it inside the city gates normally, then that will alert people in other ways. It'll just be peculiar.
Okay, then I am going to go into a darkened alley where there's no one there. Maybe I'll try to get Calum to stand at the end. He's a big, bulky guy. And then I will summon a feline who will help us kind of track these guys, keep a better eye on them in the forest.
So like a wild cat?
That's what I said. A black cat.
Meow.
Those spirits are actually fairly common around here with the docks and the racks that would be coming in from the ships. Let's see, you have 1, 2, 3 successes.
Which is 1 hour.
Okay, so what Britta does is she seems to call out to some sort of entity that you can't see, Callum. She kneels down on the ground and she makes a kissing noise, and then something appears to come up to her hand. You see it for just a slight instant before it becomes a corporeal thing, a small blue spectral outline of what you would know as a cat. We would think they're, well, they look like monsters to us, or dire cats, if you would. But this is a common cat, native to the region, that is now corporeal in front of Britta. It seems obedient enough. I don't know if they're wholly obedient to you. They just follow their natures, don't they?
They are more likely to follow commands, but basically if they come to your aid, it's because, oh, you're interested in following someone? Yeah, I'm kind of down for that. Like, they kind of know what they're signing up for, and they follow telepathic commands, and they're slightly more intelligent than your average bear.
Okay, so I'm going to interpret that to mean, yeah, you can command it to do things like follow these people if that's something you would normally do. So
It specifically says by, like, command a more peaceful or inquisitive creature to fight, it'd be like, no, dude, like, you're nuts. So,
But simple telepathic commands will be obeyed. As
yep,
long as they're not totally against what they do.
exactly. And that's why I went for the cat. It's very likely to follow these soldiers around.
okay, well, Callum, that just happened. Anything else?
You know, I've seen some weird shit in the past couple of days, and I'm still kind of, dealing with this whole, like, I eat people now thing. So, like, her conjuring cats out of nothingness is the least of my worries.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would that even register at this point?
Like, I'm just like, okay, yeah, that's weird, but I can also, like, make my hands transform into beast claws. So, on the scale of, like, 1 to what the fuck, it doesn't quite get there.
Right, it's pretty relative now, isn't it?
So, I'm gonna be stalking, after these soldiers, quietly.
And, she will let you know.
Servant warriors yourself, you both swiftly come to the conclusion that these Romans are likely part of the same fighting unit. In addition to their normal regalia, these legionnaires carry with them several sets of fishing rods and hunting bows, along with arrows to match. Time passes. Are you all doing anything? And make dex stealth checks for me.
At what difficulty?
I'm gonna go with 5. It's the dead of night.
I blood buff my dexterity, just in case.
I fail.
That is actually a botch.
What's a fail? I have 2 successes.
Wait, what? Hang on.
If you have at least a success, it's not a botch. You have to have 0 successes. And
Oh, it's not if they just outweigh. Okay, fair enough.
Wait, I don't understand. I thought the difficulty was 5.
yes,
So I see a 9 and a 7 and 3 ones. What am I missing?
so I have a failure.
He has 1 success. If you succeed on at least 1, it's not a botch. It's not about a 0 sum.
Just hear music.
Okay, sorry. Alright, still, that's a failure. Britta is a success. So, what happens in your case is, I guess do you want to describe how you fail, or shall I?
I'm not quite certain what the surrounding terrain is quite like here, so you describe.
Okay, the surrounding terrain is mostly forest, with some interspersed plains between, like little clearings. where there would be small brushes. You guys start off on a road and then break off from the road shortly after you leave, and enter into long expanses of grasses, hills, and interspersing forests. So I guess in this situation you would be in a forest and you trip over a twig.
Okay.
Everyone is immediately on their guard, and hunting bows are aimed in your direction. They don't seem to have entirely spotted you yet. They're more just aiming in the direction of the noise.
Okay. Can I try again at the higher difficulty to try and, like, blend in quietly and not move? Let me get under this brush and just be still.
Sure, you can do that. It'll be at a difficulty of, I'm gonna say 7.
3 successes.
Okay. You stand there, perfectly silent as only a corpse can be. The Roman soldiers, some of the advanced, draws nearer to your position, and they listen carefully. But because you're not even breathing, there's nothing to hear. Eventually, one of them laughs, and then they all turn around, and they start walking on their way again. Fucking animals. One of them says, and, oh, you don't speak it, so...
I have lingua franca, remember?
You hear animals and what you think is a curse.
Okay. That was close.
Two hours, approximately into the march, the legionnaires stopped and began to gawk at what appear to be the burned remains of a wicker man. This is a human-sized effigy made of wicker sticks in the shape of a man. It's been burned to ashes. All but the lower half has been burned away.
From the distance we're at, because we are, keeping our distance, would I be able to recognize enough of it to make a roll for Hearth Wisdom or Occult? Or was that something I would have to see up close?
You could make a roll. Go ahead and make a Perception Occult. And Britta, go ahead and do the same.
What difficulty?
Let's see. For you, it's gonna be 8, and for Britta, it's gonna be a 7.
Britta, it's what?
It's a 7.
I have 1 success.
Okay, with one success, you know that some sects of the Druidic Order, do burn some of these effigies. It's kind of an older practice. It's not really practiced in the north as much, but it is a southern practice that you're familiar with. And Britta's got 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
And actually, in my background, I specified that I did Wicker Man things of Roman soldiers before. It was a thing I did. I was into it.
Yep, you have a reduced DC. Alright, let me give you a little bit of dialogue and then you can get some more information here. What you know is that this is indeed a wicker man that's been used as some sort of a sacrificial rite. But again, this is a splinter sect from the Druidic Order that was long ago. This practice isn't done anymore, at least not in the north. And in the south, you aren't familiar with any of your colleagues that would still be doing this kind of thing around here. One particularly burly soldier remarks, "Fucking savages." "On your guard," calls another. This one is a lanky Numidian, and he prompts the immediate drawing of Gladii by all as he gestures to what appears to be charred remains, though they're scorched beyond any recognition. He gestures to the foot of the Wicker Man. The soldiers begin to start searching the area. They're not searching near you guys, but they are searching the general vicinity and looking around.
I snicker quietly at their discomfort.
I guess the rumors were true, says one of them. This one's particularly nondescript. What do you mean, says another. I've heard tale that the Celts used to worship a monstrous serpent that lived off the coast of this shithole back in the early days of the Empire. They would burn these effigies as a way of demonstrating their devotion, a sort of sacrificial offering. Along with flesh and blood human, of course. Seems kind of redundant. Now, Britta, with your successes, you know that the Splinter Sect did indeed pay worship to an old spirit of the land here long ago, but they burned no effigies. They would eat the flesh of their unwilling sacrifices, little more than glorified cannibals, really. The name of this spirit, Leviathan, is considered apocryphal even to the rank-and-file druids, but as a leader, you possess this lore. Their priestess, Leon, is said to have been an old crone, vanquished by a Roman incursion with the aid of the druids proper. The secretive aid of the druids proper.
Okay, so this would be repugnant to me, even though, like Roman's just uncomfortable, but we're not supposed to follow the Leviathan. Gotcha.
Wait, you got 4 successes? No, 3.
I only counted 3.
Okay, that's all you get.
Alright, okay, so...
They continue speaking. Boy, I read Germanicus and his bunch of cultists put those bunch in the sacred groves to the torch. Burned the high priestess too, a taste of her own drop. I guess some of them still eke out a living here, clinging to their faith. Keep your eyes out. And keep moving. We'll report the sighting when we get back. Look here, says another. What's not burned is soggy. This was burned before the last rainfall, and they've long moved on from this area, or the patrols would have found them. They start to march on.
When did it last rain?
Well, see, there's the rubbing point. You just got to this area 2 days ago, didn't you?
I have survival. Can I use survival to look at the surrounding area and see what we're going to see, whether it rained yesterday, 2 days ago, or longer?
Sure, go ahead and let me look at the calendar real quick here.
Would I use wits or perception on this? Or intelligence? I'll take intelligence if you want to take it.
You know, out of character, Ynish should probably be very interested in the story of the Leviathan being worshipped around here.
Oh yeah, I
Jewish
intend to
home.
update you once they're moving on and we're just following them again. I intend to get Callum and then we'll update you guys when we get back.
You will never see me again.
What?
I have a flaw. If I know anything about infernal material, I will go after it. And nothing I have to roll a will save to temporarily distract me from destroying the thing.
Well, we don't know that it's infernal. We just know that...
Oh no, it doesn't have to be legitimately infernal. I can just think it's infernal.
Well, burn a willpower point like reactively if it's allowed.
No, you know that's not allowed.
Yeah, it's suspected. So,
Alright,
can I
so-
when it rains?
Yeah, go ahead and roll a wit. Let's do a wit survival. Let's do a DC of 7. Alright, 2 success. Looking at the ground in the area around you, the level of moisture in the soil, you'd have to guess that it rained here probably a week ago, but it's tough to tell.
I would also know that druids, especially ones dedicated to Leviathan, would be very close to bodies of water, is there a creek or a brook near here that feeds into a major waterway?
Let me go ahead and just show you where you are on the map here. You see Iska here on the map? You are going south of Iska, so you are actually quite near a number of rivers and bodies of water.
But this particular effigy, is it like straddling a little brook or creek?
No, it's not straddling a brook or a creek. It's just nearby one.
Okay. Given my knowledge, would I think that they are trying to protect the creek or sanctify it, or what would be the significance to Leviathan followers of doing it near this particular waterway? Would it be more like desecrating it so that way the Romans can't cross it? What's the deal?
Well, that's just it. That's what I gave you with your occult check. The first thing you got was a splinter sects of the Druidic Order did indeed pay worship to an old spirit of the land here, but they didn't burn effigies. This wasn't a thing they did. What they would do was they would eat the flesh of their unwilling sacrifices. Really, they were considered little more than glorified cannibals.
Okay, but I mean, okay, if I were to burn a wooden effigy by something that was relevant to my druidic sect, like an elm tree, what would that mean? And then I'm going to try to extrapolate what message they were trying to convey to the gods here based upon my knowledge of druidism and my knowledge of their stuff. Can I roll like a straight up intelligence check? Like, oh, what would this mean? Like,
Intelligence occult, go ahead. Let's do it at a difficulty of 7 again.
This is one of those things that you could use heart wisdom for, too.
my cult's higher than my heart wisdom. You said 7, right? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
Okay, 5 successes. The Wicker Man in this case is used to represent likely humanity, or connection to humanity in some way, or perhaps civilization. Something to do with man. That's why you structure it in the shape of a man. Setting it ablaze would be an obvious signal to whatever deity that you were willing to part with that, to give it up. So if you had to guess, it would be either a sacrifice of a show of getting rid of one's own humanity and in connection to society, or more than likely, given what you're looking at here with your number of successes, this was someone showing their willingness to part with their own humanity.
Okay, so that's dangerous. I inform Callum that. Oh, can I also tell perhaps if this is the size of the Wicker Man? Is this a one-person job, or is this a tribe that would do this? For example, is the braiding of the straw and the wicker the same on each limb, or does it differ?
The technique used appears to be the same. It's consistent throughout.
Okay, so it was one person's sacrifice, most likely. So then that makes it even more dangerous. And I inform Callum that
Good in character.
Callum, there's another hunter here. Whatever druid made this Wicker Man, sacrificing their humanity to the Leviathan, I suspect we should be cautious that we do not become the prey while we seek our feast tonight.
Perhaps this is Germanicus, and I stalk after the soldiers before they get too far.
Okay, do you follow, Britta?
I sure do, but I am staying aware now that I realize there are predators on the loose. I just want to emphasize that I am aware now that I could be hunted.
Okay, make dex stealth checks for me, guys. DC 8 this time. These legionnaires are on alert.
Woo! 4 successes!
Okay, so despite their heightened alert, you guys are able to stay ahead of their senses. The band marches on, and after a short while, one of their soldiers abruptly peels out of formation and begins walking away. "Oi!" calls out one of his comrades. The band stops, and some ribald jokes are made about bodily functions. Time passes, and the unit never returns.
Yeah, when he peeled off, can I, try and go after him? And, just kind of gesture to Britta to keep eyes on the others? I want to see if I can maybe stalk after him and see what he's doing, if he's actually using the bathroom, if I can sneak up on him, anything like that.
I nod, but I signal to him to howl if he needs me, silently with my hand.
You guys are whispering this to each other, or you're communicating this?
No, I'm using hand signals because we have done that.
Look, I'm just pointing at my eyes and then pointing at the group. That's a pretty straightforward signal. Hey,
fair enough.
And I'm pointing to him, and I'm making a roaring notion and saying, "Hey, call me if you need me." I mean, we've fought in battles before, and I'm sure we've hunted prey before. Well, okay, prey wouldn't be the appropriate term, but there are hand signs you would use in combat.
Okay. Alright, so Callum goes and he follows after this unit.
Yeah, I want to see if I can stalk behind him and see.
He keeps walking through the brush, and then he stumbles through a forest. He seems kind of aimless, and he's going way too far at this point to be going to the restroom. He's clearing horizons at this point. You're following him far.
Clearing horizons?
He keeps walking is what I'm telling you. He doesn't stop. So, are you going to keep following him? Because at a certain point you realize he's not going to the restroom.
Okay, but is he can I get close enough to tell that he's focused? What is he doing? Is he fearful? Can I make a perception check?
Boy, aura reading would be great here.
Hey, I don't have that. I'm a gangrel, man. What's the difficulty?
Just go with 8.
One success.
One success. He is very focused on his task at hand, but you're not able to really get a read on his emotions otherwise, other than determination and focus. Tough to get a read on the discussion from the back. Yeah. I mean, in this state, he's not going to be able to defend himself. Go ahead.
I just want to pounce on him and just bite down.
Alright, I'll just give it to him. You bite into him. We don't need to roll it out. It's fine. He's distracted, and it's a single human against a vampire.
Okay. So I'm gonna drink all of his blood if I can, and hopefully I'll hold it down this time.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that willpower for me. Was it a 7 or an 8?
I believe it was 7.
I want to say it was 7, too.
I have 1 success.
Shockingly, this soldier's blood goes down fairly easy, and you don't really relish the thought of having to strip off all the armor before you can get at the good stuff. You're expected back with Britta, so you decide to leave, even though you really do want to eat that liver. Okay. You drain him of blood. You can have 10 points of blood and whatever of his gear you want to take.
Does he have money?
He does.
I'm gonna take his money because apparently that's important here.
Okay. You get 32. God, this Denaris. Denaris is what it is.
Okay. That's all I'm interested in taking from him. His life and his money.
Okay. Let's see. Britta. After a while, Callum doesn't return with the unit, and another unit departs without a word, and he heads off in a different direction.
I'm gonna stay with the remaining group until I get to the last one here. What are they saying as the second person leaves?
They start calling out to him, and then he continues moving, and so one of them just is like, I think he's just going to look for, and then he says, I think he's going to look for Aaron. You think? I mean, I guess we'll just stick together and keep waiting here. We're probably going to have to make camp soon. No, we're not going to make camp here. We're not. We're too close to that burned wicker man. They're quite alarmed at this point. Something's going on. Most of them have their blades at the ready.
I'm watching them very intently and occasionally glancing at the direction Callum came from, listening closely for a howl that couldn't be from a wolf.
Okay, make a perception. Make a dex stealth for me. I'm gonna say it's a DC of 7 since you're not having to move around much. Okay, as successes, they don't notice you still. Callum, are you returning?
Yeah. Should I roll for humanity because I just killed a guy in cold blood?
Oh, are you still having? I always think your humanity's low enough. You don't need to roll for that. What are you at?
I have humanity 5.
Right. Okay. Somehow you keep making these rolls. Yeah, you're gonna need to roll humanity again. Sorry. Let's see. It's gonna be a conscience roll. This is it's a casual violation, isn't it?
Is it though? I see him as an enemy. I mean, it's still murder, but
Well, actually, no. You did say you when you left with them, you intended to kill them and eat them if nothing happened to them.
yes.
Okay, so that's a planned violation. We'll go with. Let me pull up the formula again. Base DC of 6 increases by 1 for every level of difference. And the sin is...
Well, I failed regardless because I have a 2 and a 4.
Okay, well, I'm almost to the page. Let me find it for next time. Let's see. Plan violation is 3, so it would have been... Yeah, it would have been a DC of 9. Okay, so you fail. Not only as an enemy, you... Honestly, you're kind of elated at how easy this is.
It's like he's food. He's prey. This is how it should be. You know, I am a beast now.
Well, go ahead and take your humanity hit, and then you're returning to camp, right? Or the gathering of people that are not going to make camp, totally not going to make camp.
I'm returning to where he departed from, where these others are, in the hopes that like they're gonna eventually like start spreading out and looking for him, and just like pick them off one at a time.
Okay. So, Britta, shortly after the second man departs, Callum arrives again.
I make the sign for one, and I point in the direction the other one went off to. And then I shrug at him like, hey, where'd the one that you were following go?
So, I feel like Callum can be a messy eater. He's not always. But he caught this guy by surprise, so it's valid to not realize that I killed him right away. But then I'll smile with, like, you know, the little stains of, like, blood on my teeth. Just,
Give me an intelligence alertness from you two. Difficulty of, let's go with 7.
I have 1 success.
Anybody with 1 success realizes you left with 12. There are now only 8.
Oh, some more left when I wasn't looking? But I thought I was looking the whole time. I thought I passed that check. What are those guys saying? Because I can speak Latin, so there's nothing lost in translation here.
They are extremely alarmed, and they are all beginning to gather closely. They're getting together, and then the burly one, that seems to be at least an informal leader of some kind, states plainly, all right, everyone, get out a length of rope, and here's what we're going to do. They start lashing ropes to each other.
And then one of them, like, unties it and walks away.
Right?
They all lash ropes to each other. Now look, too many of us are missing at this point. We're gonna have to turn back.
Oh my god, it's like one of those candy necklaces, you know, you can just bite off a piece and then move to the next piece. This is gonna be yummy.
Now everyone, what we're going to do is we're going to wait here for daybreak and see if the others return. If they don't, we're going to make our way back to the city. And then we'll send out search parties. There are grunts of agreement and acknowledgement.
Can I summon a spirit beast of a wolf near here? One that would be willing to howl and make all sorts of frightening noises from the other side, basically help us hunt these humans and scare them?
You can do that. My issue is, let me look at the power real quick. I don't think you can summon it away from you. I would think you need to summon it within, you know.
Yeah, and then you would have to stealth around to the other side of the ruins. But I mean, they're lashed together. They're not going to come over and investigate. They're just going to hear something stalking around them, and then roar, and then, you know, howling and getting closer.
It doesn't specify a range, so I'm saying it is going to have to be something in touch range, so go ahead and summon it if you want, and then you'll have to command it to go to the other side and do that.
And I'm spending a willpower.
Okay, 2 successes. 5 turns.
So that should be long enough for it to stalk around to the other side, howl, and really start getting them scared. I mean, more scared.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it. Hang on one sec.
So, she's conjuring a wolf, getting it to howl. When it goes over there and lets off this, sound, I also want to howl. And that's going to be Call the Wild.
Okay. Well, what happens is she bends down, kneels down, and she lets out a small whispering howl. And then the same thing, a blue little wisp comes into existence and then becomes a corporeal wolf. The wolf proceeds to slowly walk around without a word being exchanged, circle around the other side of the camp. But unfortunately, it's not entirely used to this terrain, and it brushes into a few leaves, attracting a bit of attention from the soldiers, and they spot it. "Holy shit, it's a fucking wolf!" one of them yells. The wolf then immediately begins to howl.
That's fine. It's still a distraction from us.
Can I then, in turn, hearing this, howl
Yeah.
myself and use animalism too?
Yeah, no, you can. He just really sucked at his stealth roll.
Okay. I'm using Call the Wild to try and call wolves. So I have 2 successes. It means 1/4 of the animals that can hear of that type of animal will respond.
What's the range of earshot?
Yeah, and I'm trying to howl loudly, as loud as I can, so I am joining in this chorus.
Okay, make a dex stealth roll for me, and DC 9.
And what? Dex stealth and what?
Dex stealth, DC of 9.
That's 2.
Okay. You push yourself up against a tree before you howl as loudly as you can. Romans immediately turn in your direction, but they don't see you because you're pressed up against the tree.
How many Romans are left right now?
Looking around, still just the 8, and you are constantly scanning over them at this point. Plus, they're all tied together, so it's going to be a substantial effort for one of them to separate from the others. So you're summoning an earshot, and it's 1/4 of the potential animals in this area?
Yeah.
Shit, how dense are the wolves?
Yeah, are there wolves out here? Can any of them hear?
Alright. I'm going to say 2 wolves show up. Does it specify how long it takes them to get there?
Oh. It's up to you. How far away are they? How fast do they run?
I guess what I'm saying is, do they just, come to you as quickly as they can, or do they exercise any degree of discretion?
They are favorably disposed towards me, but it doesn't say otherwise. So if you feel like
Okay.
that's enough for them to respond urgently, or not, or you might want to base it on successes, or I don't know.
Alright, so these things see you as some sort of I guess it'd be a mama wolf? They come charging up to you happily, rushing through the underbrush in the forest and kicking up leaves and startling Romans nearby. They come over and one of them howls in your direction, and he walks over and he licks you.
Aww.
You have 2 wolves, what do you do with them?
I'm going to use Whispers to the Wild to try and convince them to hunt these people with me.
Okay, do you have animalism too, Holly? I forget.
I do not have any ranks in animalism, but I would lean close to Callum and say, remember, these are not just food, they're also bait. Leave one.
Whispers of the Wild, let's see, a predatory animal is a DC of 5. Manipulation animal 10.
I got 3.
Okay, and then you'll need to make another roll because it's single target.
Two. So, 3 successes guarantees to regular task for a week or more. 5 is indefinite loyalty.
Dude, that is so tight.
1 success is for the current scene.
Okay, it expresses that it is willing to join you in this hunt, and it considers it a noble hunt.
I'm gonna grow some claws. And, you know, with my glowing red eyes, and we're gonna try and surround these humans who are tied together so conveniently, restrained.
Dex stealth, DC of 8 now.
I'm approaching from an opposing side, so that way they are completely surrounded with me and my wolf, kind of helping enclose them the rest of the way. I plan on grabbing one to eat.
Same roll for you, and your wolf is going to dissipate at the end of this stealth roll, because it's only 5 turns, right?
I'm also gonna spend 2 more vitae, increasing my strength.
Okay.
This kitten keeps trying to smack my microphone around. It's attached to my face.
Okay, you all managed to encircle these 8 humanoids. And let me see if it's the wolves.
Now, wolves normally follow like the alpha's lead, and they'll pick people off on the end, so they'll harass. And so what I'm gonna do is go in after one of the people at the end and like try and cut them down with my claw, and hopefully the wolves will take that as a chance to start, you know, harassing the others, or you know, just pulling.
One of the
down
wolves
and
is
just
spotted,
at it.
and the Romans draw their bows. 3 of them draw their bows and prepare to let loose. Any reaction? Otherwise they fire.
Oh, well, but I'm going in. Like, I was stealthing around, surrounding, and then going in. So,
Okay.
when them drawing their bows and, like, aiming at this, that's a distraction. That's me getting a chance to just rush in and get one of them off guard. Maybe one of those with a bow out.
Okay. So with you guys, we're going to be going to initiative. So let's pop over to the other group while we have some time, and then if we've got time, we'll circle back around and do the combat.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so Gaius and Ynish, you guys are remaining behind in the town. Side note for you two. Remember, sunrise is coming, so just keep that in the back of your mind.
Oh dear. Alright, guys, I'm following you. Where are we going?
I imagine we would head towards the barracks. That's where we thought we were going.
Alright, so what was y'all's plan again?
There were soldiers that were being killed around those barracks. And there's also a guy, gladiator, who was said to be who would be there. That's like said to be immortal. That's what we were we're trying to go find him.
Oh, you were going to try and catch him on like the tail end of his shift because he works during the day. Okay, so you guys head towards the barracks district from where you have duty tonight?
No. No.
Alright, soldier. We're looking for additional help to build more stockades. So, we're needing more stockades built, and I can offer you 5 denarii.
You're phasing in and out.
Right, he asked you to build more stockades for a small...
I just kind of look at Gaius, see what he decides to do.
Does your character doesn't understand Latin, does it?
I don't have the lingua franca thing.
I thought we established this last time. He doesn't speak Latin at all.
I thought I spoke Hebrew.
I'm just confused how he would have been a soldier without speaking Latin.
Yeah, that's fair.
And he doesn't have lingua franca.
Negative.
Oh, okay, well, that's a hole in the backstory. I should have seen that earlier. Okay, I'll cook something up for that. Right, in the meantime, somehow you don't speak Latin. So, Gaius, the question falls to you.
Where do these stockades need to be built, and how long would it take? I am pressed for time.
He gestures behind himself towards map here. It would be somewhere between the market district, between the market and the entertainment district, in that middle corridor there. As for how long it would take, I mean, that'd be a strength athletics thing for you, man. I mean, probably a couple hours.
Oh, I got some pretty good strength athletics dice.
Not I.
Wait, what? Alright, so I guess I'm gonna be doing all the slave labor. Okay.
Wait, we're doing this? Okay. So go ahead. Someone's doing it? Yes?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Alright, strength athletics.
Wait, well, how are you conveying this? I mean, you don't even know what's being asked.
I'm just following Gaius's lead.
How is Gaius communicating with you?
Gaius, I imagine, would sit there and say things to him in Latin, like into his ear, as though whispering it to him would make him understand it better, even though he knows he won't.
I should probably...
Ynish is just doing what... Like, he's just picking up context clues, following everybody around, right?
Pretty much. I think I should just probably, like, throw some experience into linguistics.
Yeah, probably.
I got enough, so that'll be the next thing I do.
Okay. So you're. I mean, again, I need to hear some roleplay how you're conveying this, that you're going to, or through Gaius in some way, acting as an interpreter, because otherwise this guy's going to bark orders at you in a language you don't generally comprehend, dude.
Okay.
Orders which you were able to follow in the Legion, but now cannot, for whatever reason.
Well, he speaks Hebrew, so maybe he had like someone who spoke Hebrew, and that was like a crutch he relied on, and now all those people are dead. That's a pretty simple explanation.
The Romans would actually probably do that with like units in those areas, keep them all together, make it easier.
But now that he doesn't have that crutch, well, he's having trouble.
So all you speak is Hebrew or Yiddish,
What?
whatever the.
Well, I don't have any dots in language or linguistics, so I would assume like whatever my native tongue would be, which would probably be Hebrew. So
Okay.
see, this is why my character doesn't talk much.
That's fine.
So guys, it's kind of sit there saying things to me. I'm like, sure.
Well, he is Latin, so I imagine he would be talking with his hands as well.
Okay, so this drill sergeant turns to you after Gaius, I guess, conveys a message that you're willing to work, and he begins to speak to you in a language you don't comprehend, directing you and handing you a hammer.
Okay, I take the hammer.
Okay. There's some wood nearby with some posts that you can use to put together a saw. I guess make a craft check for me, buddy.
Okay, let's see. I'd like to
How
do,
much is crafting?
let me see. Oh, I have an amazing amount of absolutely nothing in crafting. I would like to try to do one thing, please. I would like,
Okay.
the stockades, I would kind of like, I want to kind of like, is there any more stockades, or is there like, that I can observe and say like, okay, this is how they're doing it, so I'll kind of like use that as a reference point.
Yes, they can. Yes, there are other people building stockades nearby, and making this observation, you can go ahead and make your check, and I'll give you an additional dice on it.
Cool. So, what's my main attribute for that?
Intelligence.
This is I love it.
This is just like, can you put it together in your head what you need to do with these pieces? Then it'll be a strength athletics.
Are you as smart as Callum?
I think.
You have like no dots in intelligence.
Oh,
Callum has 1 dot of intelligence.
I have one dot. What's my okay? So, strength and crafts. Oh, excuse me, intelligence and crafts. What's my DC?
I mean, let's just go with the 6,
Okay.
If you don't have any dots, you get +1 to your difficulty.
7.
Oh, this is so much fun.
Okay, you are able to puzzle out in your head what you need to do to build these stockades. Go ahead and make a strength athletics for me.
Alright.
You can add any potence or celerity you have to this.
Okay. D10. Let's see.
And I just want over 6.
Alright, so is my difficulty 6 too?
Yeah, no, just 6.
Okay.
that you're able to put together a nice stockade. Seems like that's going to be about your rate.
Yay! I've done something.
Are you going to continue to make stockades, or is this just one?
I look to Gaius to see what he. I look to Gaius as lead.
Gaius has apparently not made one, right? Or is Gaius also making one?
Oh no, Gaius is definitely not working.
What is Gaius doing?
He is doing what like you would normally see like a construction worker do, like just kind of watching somebody else work, like holding the shovel, or whatever the thing is, just kind of nodding. Good job.
Okay.
Why? Why are you doing this?
Okay, so you look to Gaius, and Gaius looks back at you, smugly.
I continue to work.
Okay, so, yeah, go ahead.
I am going to look around and see if anybody's watching.
Another 20 minutes pass, and as time passes, fewer and fewer people are even stopping by this area because there's less foot traffic as the evening goes on. Additionally, not really anyone's interested in watching people make stockades in the dark.
So nobody's looking, nobody's watching us, basically.
They're not observing you closely. There are people in the area doing their own work. You are observed, if that's what you're asking, but they're not staring at you, no. Don't throw any fireballs, they're going to notice, if that's what you're asking.
No, that's not what I'm at.
Alright, well, it took a long time and a trip to the other side of the mortal coil, but you've done an honest day's work.
Okay. I put the hammer down. And then I turn to Gaius. I'm like, just gesturing to him like, ready.
Like, did he give us our 5 denarii? Because I remember he said we would get paid.
I mean, is there a we in this equation here?
Or Ynish, somebody's getting paid.
I mean, you would likely need to go talk to the gentleman then. But right now, Ynish is looking at you. Dimly, I guess. I don't know.
This is gonna be so great when I finally get telepathy.
Gaius is rather confused as to why Ynish continues to look to him for guidance. But he goes with it and goes, I guess he's going to go try to find that guy who's supposed to pay him, because it's probably getting close to sunlight, isn't it? Or sunrise.
Well, for you guys, I mean, these other guys went on a several-mile hike, and then they had some escapades with other people. Someone went off to the woods to shit, they ate someone. You guys have spent 40 minutes making stockades, so you guys have quite a few hours left before we get to sunrise. It's after midnight at this point. I can't give you the exact time, but again, night is more than halfway over. You've got a feel for that.
Alright, yeah, so we're going to go find that guy's supposed to pay us, because I imagine he might know, or he might know something about where this gladiator guy is. Because I don't imagine he's still doing his shift at midnight.
He's at the front of the area where all the stockades are being constructed. Again, he's occasionally calling out to people as they're passing by, asking if they're looking for some nighttime labor. And you can approach him from behind. What do you say to him?
Taps him on his shoulder.
He is momentarily, what's your dex stealth?
4.
3 dex, and my stealth is at 2, so that's 5.
I'm gonna say that he is startled when you approach him. He turns around, and then he steps about a foot's breadth away from you, just to try and separate and give himself some personal. What can I do for you?
My companion here wants his denarii. Then he whispers into his ear, he's Hebrew.
No, an auxiliary. Very well. Let's see. You've completed. He gestures 1, 2 with a baton. All right, here you go. He counts out 10 denarii and hands it to you. He attempts to tell you farewell and thank you in Hebrew, but he just butchers it.
I tell him his mother's a cow in Hebrew.
He nods and smiles, and then he proceeds to kind of just ignore you. Going back to calling out to other people. Okay, well.
Oh, by the way, you wouldn't happen to know where we could find the gladiator who's supposed to be invincible? They say he cannot die. They say he also works for the staff here. I imagine his shift is over. We're wanting to find him. We're huge fans.
Ah, let's see, Leticus. Yeah, I know of Leticus. Where he would be right now? Probably. As for fighting Leticus, you would need to fight him in the arena or challenge him directly in some way. But I couldn't imagine that he'd want to spend his fighting strength on a friendly battle. After all, it's money.
We're not wanting to find him. We're wanting to probably hire him for our own games that we're holding offshore, back in the homeland.
While you're enlisted.
No. This would be a future.
Roll a manipulation subterfuge. 6s. Well, he's giving you the 3rd degree on this for some reason, but he eventually seems to believe you. Alright, well, if you're trying to arrange something with him in the future, then I suppose you could go by his manager's place and perhaps leave him a missive or try to speak with him. I don't think he's up this late, but you might be able to speak with him during the daytime. It's Proculus Cantius Calogeras.
Could you type that in the role play?
Okay.
And this is his manager, you say?
This is the manager. Yeah, here, I'll go ahead and list it out.
thank you very much for your time, and if you need more stockades built tomorrow night, you happen to run into us. We'll be, my companion here will be happy to help. And he just kind of pats Ynish on his shoulder.
We've always need of stockades, especially with how rowdy the soldiers are getting lately.
Well, then we might see you tomorrow. Must be going, then. Then he kind of just nods to Ynish, like, come on, let's go.
I follow.
Good evening.
Guys whispers into Ynish's ear, I can't believe that word.
What? Pay for labor? I mean,
No.
yeah, it usually works.
The whole, like, future endeavor story. Who the hell hires a gladiator for, like, months?
Okay, so now what's your plan?
Probably go to try to find the Lannister at this point. You would just keep going until it was time to go to sleep.
I'm sorry, looking for a Lannister?
Gladiator, trainer, slaver, owner, what they were called.
Oh, Procula?
Yeah.
Okay, well, how would you locate Procula?
Oh, didn't he tell us where he would be?
He didn't, but I can say that you asked him. Let's just say that you asked him. He would be in between the barracks and the entertainment district.
Okay, so, yeah, that's probably where he would go then.
Okay, so you arrive at what looks to be a series of small apartments and domiciles. They're numbered, but they're not indicative of who is on the inside of them. They are made of stone and wood. Some of them are stone, some of them are wood, with Roman numerals. What do you do?
I count my denarii. As I wait for Gaius.
Yeah, guys, this in this typical situation, it's not thinking everything through because I don't think he asked which door for his little address thing. So he would just kind of stare at the address. How many are there? Like little buildings.
Oh, there's several streets worth of them. They go on for a little while. If you had to guess, probably 30 or so, just in this one little area. There are others in between these two districts here, but this is the complex that you're pretty confident he told you was located in.
Are there any people sitting on the streets or anything like that? Just kind of walking around.
There are a couple of people milling about, yes. There's a pair of what looks to be, if you had to guess, they're young lovers. A male and a female. Probably between the ages of 20 and 30. The female has fair hair while the male has very dark hair and darkened skin.
You said they appeared to be lovers. What are they doing?
They are sitting whispering to each other intimately on a bench, watching the moon.
I give Gaius a disappointing look.
Gaius just kind of looks at Ynish. Do you still have your coins out? Like, are you still counting them?
I was.
Oh, you put them away.
Mm-hmm.
Gaius would probably sit there and look to Ynish, kind of like rubbing his fingers together, trying to like signal a coin, and then look at those other two people and say he needs it, like some kind of way. He would say it in Latin because he doesn't care if Ynish can actually understand him or not. But
Okay, I'll pull out one of the coins.
Gaius would take it and then go walk over to that couple, or the.
Okay, so who's approaching them?
Gaius is.
Gaius, and you're approaching them with coins drawn?
Yes.
Okay. As you draw near, you're approaching visibly, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. As you approach, they look up at you almost derisively. It seems that you're intruding upon their space. Oh, Hale, can I do something for you? Says the male.
Yes, and then he would tell him he was looking for Proculus, and he would toss him the coin. Ask him if he knew which address it was.
Proculus? Which Proculus? Caligaris?
Yes, correct.
Oh, he's my neighbor, actually. 3 doors down. He would be in unit. He begins to count on his hands. 23.
I find it hilarious that he needs to use his hands to count 3 more from him.
What's it, Unit 23?
Unit 23, that's correct.
Oh my god.
The female says excitedly, "Oh," to the male as you're turning to depart. "Oh, didn't his wife have a thing for that gladiator?" Yeah, I think they did, actually. His wife, Tita. She was... Maximus was seen leaving the chambers late at night, usually. But it was over a year ago. It was a long time ago. Haven't seen him since then. At this point, you're going to leave earshot, or you're going to stop, and they're going to stop, because you stopped walking away.
No, Gaius would keep walking. He knows better than that.
Okay. Alright, where do you go?
To Unit 23. He doesn't really say anything to Ynish because he's kind of figured Ynish is just going to follow him either way.
Pretty much.
Alright, you head down to Unit 23. It is dark inside. There are no lights that you can tell from under the door.
Well, we just knock on the door then?
Why not?
Okay, you're knocking on the door. Go ahead. You knock. How long do you wait? Do you knock urgently, or do you knock softly? How do you knock?
Does Ynish do that?
Okay, it sounded a little quickened to me and urgent. You make this fervent knock. It makes quite a lot of noise, but after a little while, nothing really seems
get some gas and light it on fire.
No, don't do that. That's a terrible idea.
Says the Malkavian.
Gaius would actually try to open the door.
It's locked.
Like, so it's barred from the inside?
I think they had keys and keyholes back then. Let me take a look.
I don't think I have lock picking. That would be like ledger domain, isn't that?
Share domain, yeah. Oh shit, yeah, locks and keys date all the way back to the capital of Syria. So not only does it predate Roman times, it likely predates Odin.
Damn thieves.
Lock is kind of a complex thing, man, especially using a key with it. That's kind of impressive.
Let's see, yeah, locks, Egyptians developed wooden pin locks consisted of a bolt, door fixture, and a key. And when the key is removed, the pins fell partway into the bolt, preventing movement. Yeah, it turns out when all you're doing is sitting around hunting and shitting in a hole, you can come up with some pretty complicated inventions.
Yeah, I think actually the Egyptians did come up with these like vases that were like batteries. They would fill them with I think it was orange juice or something like that, and then they would put some. It was, I don't know exactly how it works. I remember reading it when I was drunk.
Well, there you have it. So it is a keyed lock, and you don't have it.
But you know what you do have? Vitae.
I do have Vitae.
You know what you can do with Vitae?
Put it in the keyhole.
You can be strength 8 if you wanted.
Yeah, that's where I was getting. Like he could go up and up that
Not
strength
that you
and
would
keep
need
the
to.
door open, but that would draw a lot of attention to himself. Gaius is more of a kind of is there an open window kind of guy.
Look, we approach our problems in different ways.
Okay, so what do we have?
He would actually, at this point, he would look for a window.
I'm gonna say this place does have a window. They're like little slits more than... They're slits towards the top of the building, that are there. They have some glass, looks like glass there. It's a very kind of... It's a grimy, filmy, kind of opaque glass that's there that allows light to pass through it. But you can't really see in, and he probably can't see out.
He said that was on the top floor of the, right?
It's a one-story dwelling. It is just towards the top of the dwelling. Like, I hate to put it to you this way, but like the kind of windows you would see in prison, that's the kind of windows that they have. They're higher up, probably above the level of the doorway, and they're more slits to allow light to pass through during the day more than they are to allow for them to look out.
Alright, so like it's like Gaius is 5'7", so he's basically meant like can he reach the window?
Yes, because I can lift you up.
Yes, you can either be lifted up, or you could take a small hop and grab the lip, but okay, so are you being boosted up to this window?
Yeah, he would signal to Ynish to give him a boost.
Okay, Ynish, you have a point of potence, right?
I do not, but I have 3 strength.
Roll the strength athletics for me. Gaius, what's your stamina and what's your armor?
My stamina is 2. You said armor?
Yeah, what type of armor are you wearing?
He has on a Lorca Hamada. Armor rating 3.
Okay, this is a Roman type of armor, a lamellar, I guess?
Yeah, it's like chainmail, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that would be a chain or a ring mail or some sort of heavy plating like a flak jacket almost. A medieval flak jacket. Okay, so with that, you said you had a stamina of 2. So for Ynish... Oh, well, with those rolls, it doesn't matter either way. Okay, he's able to boost you up.
Into the window I go.
Okay, the issue here is you're going to need to try and squeeze through here. With a stamina of 2, it's going to be a tight fit. Again, these are slits. They're not made for people to pass through. They're made for light to pass through. If you had, like, Serpentis 3, there'd be no problem. But as it stands, you have physical bones you're going to need to smash and kind of trying to get in here.
Never mind, I don't have anything that can let me do that.
Sure there is. I can just take out my gladius, cut you into pieces, throw you in, and then you can just put yourself back together. It's the Malkavian way.
Or you could just take my suggestion. You use obfuscate and go in the front door.
Yeah, that's probably
Locked out soon.
locked out at this point.
Okay, so you're just going to try and open the door?
Yeah, but I'm going to use obfuscate first. I don't know if I can roll anything.
You do not need to roll anything. You will need to roll something when you bust this door with obfuscate. So you have obfuscate 2, right?
I have obfuscate 3.
Okay. 3 only lets you look like other people, so 2 is the rank that's going to be doing anything for us here. It's the mind affecting invisibility.
Rank 1, he can prevent any sound.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would probably be a solid thing. So tell me how you're approaching this, I guess. You're activating obfuscate 2, and then what else are you doing?
And then I'm going to probably spend some blood points to increase my strength. Fine. Or maybe I can do it one turn.
Okay. And
Sick.
Andrew just made a recommendation that you should probably spend one of those points on obfuscate 1.
Yeah.
That doesn't cost anything.
Oh, wait. Does it only cost the blood if you're cursing the area?
Yeah, if you're creating like a... Well, okay. So, you can spend 2 blood points and 5 turns to concentrate on a room or enclosure, and the silence will remain there after you leave, and until you will it to end. But otherwise, you can just use obfuscate 1 to make like a bubble of like 20 feet around you that just has no sound.
Okay, so I suggest you activate that as well. And then you're buffing your strength.
Yeah, I bumped my strength by 3.
Okay, at your generation, you can actually go up to, I think, 7. 1 higher than your generation, right, Andrew? So you can go all the way to 7 in the stat if you want.
Yeah, I
He's
think
a-
he would
he's a-
do that. He's a noob. He wouldn't know how to control this yet.
You're 6th generation too, right?
Yeah.
7's your normal maximum then. You can go up to 8 maximum.
But at that point, you have to spend blood every turn.
No. You can go 1 above your maximum for the seat. Anything above that is blood every turn. So if you're capped out at 6 in a thing, then you can go to 7. With 6th generation, you can go up to 7 dots and things. So that means you can blood buff to 8, and that would last for the whole scene. strength 3, and you want to go to 8, that's 5 points. Then you can spend 6 per turn. So,
Okay, so I got a strength 2.
yeah, I mean,
6 points.
you probably only need like 5 or 6 to bust down a door.
Well, I'm basically going off. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's a newbie vampire, so I figured
Just going all out.
Yeah, just going all out. He has no idea how to control shit.
What's your athletics?
2.
Okay, go ahead and roll a strength athletics. And we'll be a difficulty of 7.
The example for strength of 8 is throwing a warhorse. You can lift up a warhorse and throw it without having to roll.
Wait, I thought that's only on a feat of strength. Doesn't that involve a willpower roll?
Lifting and breaking are feats of strength. So, and if you're at that level or higher, you don't have to roll. So breaking down a wooden door is a feat of strength of 3. If you have a strength of 3, you don't even have to roll, you can just auto-succeed.
I can do that.
If you want to attempt something higher up on the scale, then you roll willpower. And every success on the willpower roll gives you an effective strength score that much higher.
That is so unnecessarily complicated. Okay,
Yes.
so don't roll it then. That's fine. You break down the door. I'm fine with that.
It is the one weird rule thing that deviates from every other way of accomplishing things.
Yeah, that's really stupid and convoluted, but whatever. Okay, so you're able to break down this door without a sound. Inside, shockingly enough, is a sleeping old man. This apartment is fairly lavish for a Roman. It's got, about 4 whole rooms to it. Much larger than any of the barracks that you're familiar with. It's got, looks like, a quick look inside, you would guess 2 bedrooms.
Matt, you keep cutting out for me. I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, you cut out half that time.
He said that this is a very lavish room for this fella.
Yes, this man has a fairly lavish room among Romans. If you had to guess, just looking inside, it'd be about 2 bedrooms, and looking inside, shockingly enough, one of those beds is occupied by an older man. He has graying hair, and he is portly. His skin is sagging. He's wheezing a little as he sleeps.
What's the other room? Is it like the door shut or something?
Empty bedroom. Does anyone have enhanced senses?
I have Auspex and Dementation. That's it.
Are you using heightened senses?
I can.
Right, but you have to tell me that it's on, right?
I do.
Because-
And I haven't, so I don't think he is.
Okay, and Ynish, did you decide you wanted to tell me as well?
I am not currently using it.
Okay. It's an empty bedroom. The bed's made. If you had to guess, this room belonged to a female.
Gaius would look to you. Is Ynish still with me? Is he just kind of like still like just standing behind me?
I'm still here.
Yeah, he would look to Ynish and tell him in Latin that his the lady is out on an adventure. Kind of giggles, like raising his eyebrows all creepy like.
Okay, soundlessly, he says something to you in a language you don't comprehend.
So basically, so pretty much what he did was just mime.
Yeah, he just mimed because no sound emanated.
Okay, so Gaius would go back to the old man's bedroom, still continuing to not make a sound, and try to look for like a desk to see if there's like a ledger or something like that.
There is. There's a desk with a great many ledgers on it, and a couple of books too.
Gaius would hand those ledgers to Ynish and then start walking out.
Okay. Let's say you grab 3 that are just sitting on the top of the desk. So Ynish, you have 3 ledgers in a language you can't read.
Christmas has come early. Excuse me, Hanukkah.
Okay, you're leaving.
Yep.
He would pretty much go, then at that point he would just kind of head back to wherever they were supposed to meet back up.
I tap Gaius on the shoulder. And
What?
I point at the doorway that he kind of like destroyed.
Oh yeah, this thing is in splinters on the ground.
Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to put it back together?
You're lucky this is like online, or I would insist you mime this out. You can't give me with words right now, bud.
That would be funny. It's too bad.
It is too bad. Yeah, I suppose Gaius would kind of just keep miming stuff out because he's kind of weird. He doesn't really, it's not really registering to him entirely what's going on with him using stuff. He's just more of trying to be extra quiet. I imagine a lot of this is just being instinctual.
So what are you miming to him exactly? You guys are sitting over this broken door.
Gaius is just kind of miming to him like there's nothing he can really do about the broken door except the fact that the guy seems to be sleeping and not notice, so if they leave, then it's not a big deal.
Guy shrugs his shoulders, cocks his head, and then motions for you to follow.
Wake the guy up. Talk to him. Scare the shit out of him.
He's gonna be scared of what happened to his door regardless. Even if nothing happens to me, if someone does that to my front door, I'm not gonna sleep well the next, year.
Yeah. It's like, are they gonna come back? Oh no.
Okay, so you're heading back to a rendezvous location, I guess?
Wait, so you guys just broke the door and left?
Took the ledgers because he imagines the ledgers will probably tell him where the people, where the guy is.
Maybe?
He's going off of his past experience. That's all he's doing.
I've been instructed that y'all don't have common sense. I'm gonna return to sitting quietly and listening to your adventure. Best of luck, comrades.
Alright, well, they don't show up until it is very close to dawn. At this point, you guys are starting to get a little worried that they may not make it before dawn.
At this point, my character is just going to assume that Callum is probably just going to melt into the ground like he did before.
Yeah, Gaius would be reading the ledgers, or looking through the ledgers that they took.
Okay, so let's start with Ynish. Ynish, you have Earthmelt?
No. I said my assumption would that be that if Callum doesn't before.
Oh. Okay. Are you guys just gonna
we head back to an inn, or to the last inn that they were at.
Wait, you guys went to a different inn the last time around, right? One that you didn't, like, knock a kid out?
Correct.
Right, we went to a totally different inn, one that we didn't make a scene that we were stolen from it.
Then and extend your stay, I guess.
We now have Denari.
Oh yeah, so you do. Alright, it'll be another 5 for the night.
I need to build more of those things.
Hey, if I could pay my rent in 20 minutes a day, man.
Okay, I give him I give him the 5 denarii.
Okay, you receive a key. And you can go rest in your room.
Yay.
Alright, so we'll go ahead and say you guys retire for the evening. And then back over on the Britta and Callum side, we were starting a combat. I don't know if we want to start a combat this late into the session. What do you guys think? I'm pretty tired.
That's fair. You did say before that you might have to stop earlier anyway, so.
Yeah. Besides, I want to be able to focus on the combat. It's always kind of nice to just start a night with that.
We shall tear into their flesh with great vigor.
Okay, as for the ledgers, I can either come up with the names of what's on them on the spot, or I can just come back at you next week with something that makes more sense for ledgers to be sitting on his desk.
The latter is fine.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the latter.
Alright, we'll go ahead and call it there for the evening then, guys. Sorry, we'll try and play later next time. Hopefully I get over these health issues. We'll go ahead and give everyone do 4 experience tonight. And everyone can restore a point of willpower.
I'm gonna be throwing some points in language.
How much is that? Because it's a background.
On my sheet, linguistics is under knowledges.
Well, no, it's not. Not a background. I'm sorry. It's a merit. No, we're using the 20th anniversary. Linguistics doesn't exist.
I think it's like for a merit. I think it's like one experience per language.
Multilingual is 2, and then you get your int plus 1.
Normally you can only buy them with freebie points between scenarios.
But this is also one of those weird circumstances where, like, it's made sense for his character to have it. It's a thing he probably should have had.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to spin this. If anything, I'm gonna go weird with it and say it's a recovered memory.
It's a what?
Like a recovered memory.
Like I knew I could do it. I just forgot I could do it.
Yeah, you're finding yourself becoming more familiar with it the more you hear it.
The more you hang out with Gaius and his bad planning.
The more and more your own memories seem to be popping up in Latin.
You can't call it bad planning. You have to actually have plans for it to be bad planning.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, so for this, if you're gonna purchase it,
Yep.
I believe multilingual increases the cost by 1 for every additional language you want to learn, right?
It has an initial value where it's like it's 2 points for the merit cost, and then it's like your intelligence in bonus languages.
One last question just to ponder. How big are the trees around here? Are there any, like, gigantic trees, like 5-story tall, really big trees?
I don't know about stories tall, but if you're talking about like these really, really tall, like, I guess they'd be elm trees or what have you that you're thinking of, like these long trees that I know what you're thinking of, like these extra tall trees. They have those, yes. they're all around you. I don't know specifically, like, story, how high up they are.
It hasn't been deforested yet, so it is pretty big trees for this time period.
I want them to be big enough that a dozen Romans couldn't haul it away very easily. It would take a few hours of labor.
I mean, there's pretty much not going to be any trees around that you're going to be able to make them take a couple hours to do, because Romans are pretty damn good at this shit.
So, multilingual you can use to get secret codes, cants, jargon, and sign language on top of, like, regular languages. Which is kind of cool.
How much experience is that to use?
Alright, if you're going to purchase multilingual, I guess let's go with... Normally you can't buy this without freebie points. I'm going to say, let's say 10 experience, just to try and get the character caught up to where he should be.
Okay, that's fine, because that'll give me, I got 13 now.
How many intelligence dots do you have?
Uno.
Huh?
1.
Oh, well then that just gets you one language.
That's all I need.
If
Yeah, you have Latin.
Later, you can learn another language.
I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be interpreted.
Well, I mean, if you add a few hundred years in between, I just figured it kind of increases your capacity. I mean, you couldn't learn it over a night, but over a few hundred years, yeah, that's how I've read it.
True enough. If you were to purchase it between campaigns, yeah, then intelligence increases. I could see adding a language. But I guess we'll discuss it as we go further on. So, anyone else wanting to spend experience?
Not right now.
Yeah, I got to think on it.
Alright, anyone have any questions? Otherwise, I am going to go crash hard.
Nope, good game.
Nope, good game.
Alright, take care, guys. See you guys in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Night, guys.